always do, darling. Why, what do you think I was going to do? Striptease? It's not doing you any good, do you know that?
What's that?
This new lifestyle of yours. You're losing your bottle, I tell you.
I see.
There you are, Sharon.
Rubbish.
Now, when you just, brushed by me just now, I could feel the vibes.
That was terror, Eddie. I mean, with an animal like you, what's a poor, inexperienced flower supposed to do?
Yeah? Is that how he sees you?
What?
Old Ollie has an inexperienced little flower.
Eddie,
I know,
pack
it's rather
it in.
nice. It's sort of sweet there.
Did you hear what I said?
And how experienced do you reckon he is, eh?
Will you shut up?
All right. Ooh.
It's a great pity nobody ever taught you any manners.
I know, I've been handicapped by that all my life.
I'm serious.
So am I. It's what you might call a social inadequacy. And you know me, I can't stand being inadequate. Hello? If I'm any judge, she's upset about something.
Di?
I'm all right.
You don't sound all right.
Well, I'm all right.
Okay, you're all right.
All right.
Yes, and now you are going.
Where'd you get this mean streak from, eh?
On your bike, come on.
Hey, do you mind if I get dressed, eh? I mean, people are already talking, you know. What happens if I bump into old Dolly Dolman on the stairs, eh? Tying one hand, coat in the other?
Henry Pollard needs to be...
Don't say it, Di. Our little experienced Flowery has gone very genteel on us all of a sudden.
What's happened?
I've been dumped, Sharon. I've been dumped. All that smooth-talking sophistication means sweet Fanny Adams.
Oh, eh? Now, let our friend here take a warning from that. You see, these middle-aged tycoons, darling, they're all right on the old bunny. When it comes to a bit of action, that's a different story, isn't it?
Look, just you...
See you later.
If you're so set on buying the house, I can't understand why you're hanging fire. We ought to be exchanging contracts by now.
Oh, I'll have a word with Kevin tonight. He's always so busy.
You've already missed 2 appointments with the Building Society.
I know. It might help if we knew where we stood with you.
I told you can have it, and I meant it. How many more times?
Why can't we send that greenhouse back where it came from, then?
What's that got to do with anything?
A lot. You say this house is as good as ours, but when it comes down to it, we haven't got a say at all. We rang you at work when Percy Dobson sent the thing over and said we didn't want it.
Oh, well, it was kindly meant, wasn't it? It was a present. You couldn't expect me to throw it back in his face. It would look so ungrateful.
What to be grateful to him for?
Oh, nothing, I suppose, but it wouldn't hurt to keep in with him. After all, your livelihood depends on his business.
Yeah, well, that's different. Working with him is one thing, but when it comes to interfering in our private lives... Do you know, it took Kevin all afternoon to put that greenhouse up. And he's not even interested in plants.
You don't have to tell me.
So what's it all about, Mum? What's going to happen? What would you say if Percy Dobson got serious about you?
Don't be so silly. You know very well what I'd say.
You're not being fair, you know. You're encouraging him.
I'm not encouraging him, but there's no harm in being friendly. That's all.
I repeat, is this going on all night? Silence before dinner, silence during dinner, silence after dinner.
Well, you began it.
What? I've lost count of the times I've tried to start up a conversation.
Yes, and I've lost count of the times that you've failed to introduce the only subject you know interests me. Oh, hello, Barbara. Why don't you come over and join me? I am, to all intents and purposes, alone.
I take it your husband hasn't confessed to the brutality we saw on display earlier.
Oh.
Brutality?
You know, I seem to remember that he almost reduced Diane to tears here in the bar 3 hours ago.
Oh, yes, and he knew we were watching him. I could tell by the way he hunched his shoulders.
Brandy, Barbara?
Val, I notice you're not having a brandy tonight. It's funny, I really don't feel like one either.
Look at the pair of you. You're trying to make me feel concerned. There is no need. I am already.
You know, I think I heard a faint stirring of humanity in your husband just then.
Yes, I think I detected something too, but far too late to be of any comfort to poor Diane.
What could I do? When she simply isn't management material. She didn't seem to want her old job back on the coal trolley.
Oh, J. Henry, you didn't have the gall to offer her that.
Well, it was the least I could do, surely.
Nobody on the motel management authorized you to offer a job at all.
I am a shareholder, a director of the board.
Yes, but not involved in the motel management. I mean, you have no say, none whatsoever, in the staffing of the restaurant.
Then join me in my concern. You, as much as myself, are failing to employ that girl.
She is your responsibility. You employed her at your marina in Scotland. Why don't you do it again?
Because I expected you to be glad to have her back here.
Oh, piffle.
I tell you I did. And she expected it too. She had as much confidence in you as I did.
Listen, J. Henry, this whole Diane idea was a way to get at Paul Ross. Well, it's enough that Diane should have to suffer the consequences of your cynicism without Eva having to go through it as well. I mean, why should she be sacked, ousted?
Look, I am not going to sit here and be traduced.
Traduced? Traduced.
That's the only word for it. I did everything I could for Diane. I gave her the opportunity of her lifetime. Well, she failed to grasp it. Well, that I can stomach. But what I cannot stomach is the heartless way you are punishing her for trying to better herself and me for...
You?
For knowing that she would not pass a management course and yet putting her through one.
And for sending her to certain failure.
And at the same time, never once in 6 months letting her know that she was failing.
And in fact, for ruining the girl because you despise Paul Ross.
Look, I have told you I am concerned.
Oh, J. Henry, how very, very considerate of you. Excuse me, Valerie.
The hell of it is, I suspect you've tired of getting at Paul Ross, and you now want to indulge your dislike of Adam Chance. You've ruined Diane for nothing.
And always do your entering up afterwards, all right? Something you require, Miss Pollard?
No, don't let me interrupt you.
In other words, do the job exactly as Glenda does and all will be well. Ask her to explain it to you when she's next time with you, all right? Now.
You have a high opinion of Glenda Banks?
Yes, very.
And what about this girl, Eva? What do you think of her work?
We don't have any Evas here.
On the coal trolley.
Oh, yes, yes. She's as good on the coal trolley as Glenda is at the cash box.
Would you like to see either of them replaced by Diane?
Eva or Glenda?
Well, either.
I should protest emphatically. Eva does splendidly her job. Diane once did well. But if Eva was to be removed at your husband's request to make room for Diane, then I should resign.
You'd go that far?
A manager depends on the goodwill of his staff. Therefore, he must ensure their trust, not their contempt. Don't admire me too much, Mrs. Pollard. A distrusting staff in the end trips up its boss and humiliates him.
So, Paul, what you're saying is that you would in no circumstances put in a good word for Diane to return to any part of your staff at all?
And what exactly are you saying, Valerie? Now that Diane is back, J. Henry failed to secure a job for her here?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I find it disgraceful.
You're surprised?
Knowing him, no.
I don't think anything he's ever done has bounced back on him quite as hard as this that he's done to Diane.
Now, that's the most I've ever heard said for him. Much good it will do Diane, though.
Hi.
Hi.
Now, coffee?
No, thanks.
Still down.
What do you think?
Oh, come on. Have a cup of coffee and a piece of toast and marmalade.
Right,
It's
Sharon,
your
stop trying
favourite.
to cheer me up.
Surely, after having let you down personally, Pollard has had the decency to tell the rest of them they've got to fit you in somewhere, yeah?
The motel owes me nothing.
No. Don't you accept that? You've worked there for
Will
years.
you drop it, Sharon? I've slept on it. It's my own stupid fault. I should never have gone to that marina in the first place.
Ah, spilt milk.
Oh, sure. Shrug it off. Start again with an empty bottle.
Look, if it's any help, I feel rotten about it as well.
I don't need sympathy, Sharon, especially not from you.
Yes, but I encouraged you to go
Oh,
up there, didn't
come
I?
on.
Maybe if I hadn't, you wouldn't.
Sharon, don't flatter yourself.
Oh, okay.
I went up there of my own accord. There were warning signs all the way along. Everybody warned me. Then 3 months turns into 6 months and still the penny doesn't drop. I've just lost out, that's all.
Yes, well, be that as it may, I would very much like to see you stand up to Pollard.
How do I do that?
You hit his public image. You get a lawyer to shoot a writ at him.
A writ about what?
Wrongful dismissal. You had a personal contract with him. Huh? What?
It ran out 3 months ago.
But you didn't.
I'm sorry, I know I was stupid. Anyway, what do? I've got no job, I've got no money. Any lawyer I might get wouldn't stand a chance.
The point's not to win the action, just threaten it. Because I can't really see him doing public combat with a waitress.
Who says I'm a waitress anymore?
We're heading into a problem with the holiday roster.
Looks all right to me.
When we go on holiday, Adam will have to do our work and Jill will have to oversee him. Don't you feel they might be rather embarrassingly thrown together?
I'll simply slot in Jill's holiday at the same time as Adam's. She'll go her way and he'll go his.
The man's only just started work here. Even he won't expect to be regaled with an annual holiday quite so soon.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Jill. I've just put your mail on the desk there.
Oh, thanks. Oh, did you mention my little problem to David? About German school terms not being the same as ours. So if I'm going to have Sarah Jane over, I'm going to have to take my annual holiday a bit earlier. I knew it would slip your mind, you know. Look, shall I do the holiday rosters?
No, don't worry. I'll see to it. Plenty of time.
Good morning. We were to meet about the development plans.
I would like to know how you settled things with Diane last night.
Sorry, Jill, what was that?
What sort of job will she be doing for you where in your little empire?
Oh, well, as you know, my dear, I'm in the process of winding up my little empire.
And isn't there a place in what's left for Diane?
Not at present, no. If the report on her training course had been a good one, then I might have been able to do something, but...
But, J. Henry, look, you knew before you nominated her that she wasn't going to get a good report, didn't you?
Look, if it's not you saying that, it's Val. Or you. Why? I mean, what sort of a monster do you think I am?
Oh, J. Henry, don't tempt me.
I enjoyed bits of that. Keep at it.
Natural causes, that's what Maeve heard.
Heart attack?
No, something snapped up here, mate. Brain hemorrhage. All of a sudden, went out like a light.
I suppose there'll be an inquest.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? I mean, if she'd been under the doctor and he knew she had some sort of weakness, then there'd be no problem, you know. Just went out like that.
Well, less fuss the better, I say.
What do you mean, about Benny, you mean? Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Him going around saying he had to leave there in a hurry. Looks bad, that, doesn't it?
And I was talking about the upset. Well, it must have been a shock for him, you know.
Yeah, but you know what people are, don't you, Mark? I mean, you put 2 and 2 together and make 5, don't they?
Yeah, but...
I got it for £8. Bargain, eh? What do you think of that?
Yeah, if it works.
It'll work, all right. Don't worry, I tried it out.
What's that, it?
That's a metal detector, Benny. You ever seen one of those before?
No. It's a bit bent at the end, isn't it?
Never a true word said, mate.
Nothing bent about that. That was a proper transaction, mate.
Well, how does it work?
Get me a spanner, I'll show you.
Spanner?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spanner down there. Okay. Put the earphones on. Okay. Hold this. Okay. Now I'll just cover up the spanner, see? Now then, just move it round. You know, check it. Move it round.
What?
Just move it round and you'll find it. Go on, switch it on. Oh, switch it on. Right. Now then, move it round and it'll make a noise when you find the spanner.
Ah. Hey, Sid.
What?
It made a noise when I found the spanner.
There you are. That could have been a field or a hedgerow or anything. Needn't have been a spanner. Could have been something else, couldn't it?
Yeah, empty coat and a couple of rusty nails.
Yeah, or a treasure trove or some coins that have been there for years and years. It's happened before, you know.
Yeah, but every 20 years.
Oh, come on, you lot. Back to work.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Thought you'd all gone home or something. Benny!
Huh? Oh, hello, Miss Sharon. Have you ever seen one of these detective things before? Sid's let me have a go at it. It's ever so good it can find anything made of metal.
Super! Well, let's see if it can't find Mr. Webber's car, because he's been screaming for it since 9:30.
Oh, no, thanks.
Huh?
Jill, I really am
Have you
quite
seen
sorry
Mr.
about
Paul?
Well, isn't he in the bar using it as his office?
No, just look there. Oh, Mr. Paul.
Indeed. Oh, Mr. Paul.
Why am I being stared at?
Oh, well, why you got up like that?
I always run a mile or two after breakfast duty. Gets me fit for what awaits me hereafter. What is it?
Oh, one of the guests wants a picnic hamper for a day in the country.
So, it's been done before. Why hamper me with it?
Because just look what's wanted.
Goodness. Most elaborate, expensive, and sumptuous. Charge the earth for it.
It's not the bill we're flustered about. Where are we going to get all these things? They're mainly out-of-season delicacies.
All it needs is a half a dozen phone calls to this or that supplier, that's all.
See, Diane's so good at this sort of thing. If she was still on the cold trolley, she'd have handled this in a flash.
Are you saying that Ava is not as expert on the trolley as Diane
Well,
was?
Ava's not on duty, is she? And she's got no one to cover for, and there should be someone.
Give me the list,
Look,
Mrs. Brownlow.
we've got to have it ready by...
It will be ready. Is David in there?
Yes, but he's quite busy.
So am I, Barbara. So am I. As you can see, I'm off duty. My morning run.
Try not to pad through here every second.
Oh, I seldom succeed in padding through anywhere. Something always interrupts. This morning, for instance, this extraordinary request for a hamper.
Quite a banquet.
Requiring knowledge of specialty foods and their stockists. Do you happen to have that knowledge?
You're the dining room manager.
This hamper is not to be consumed in the dining room, but somewhere in the green pastures of England.
And hampers come from the dining room.
Are you hinting that in spite of my faith in your expertise, you don't know where to start with it either?
What about your expertise? That's what we hired you for.
I saw no reason to develop expertise in respect of hampers, whilst Diane was our coal trolley girl. She saw to it that all that was unnecessary.
That's it. You've had a row with Eva and want me to replace her with Diane.
Eva is just as expert on the trolley as Diane ever was, but her expertise goes for nothing when it comes to a hamper. She's not on duty. If both girls were working here, a little examination of the roster would ensure that one of them was at hand at all times for emergencies of this kind.
Are you saying that at your suggestion, I should re-employ a girl who gave notice?
Barbara heard Mrs. Brownlow badger me about reinstating Diane.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say badger.
I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't put up a staff petition about it.
Well, I would be. Are you suggesting that Diane should be brought in as Eva's understudy? I mean, you really would like to see her humiliated to that extent?
Barbara, I don't think that was in Paul's mind.
Well, then what was?
I believe there are legal complications. Diane could easily sue J. Henry, and the humiliation could well rub off on the motel and the management itself.
That was one step too many in your morning run. Keep out of this and see to that hamper.